Well, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Millennials in Ministry. I'm your host, Erin Lashley, and today I'm really excited to be interviewing Emmanuel Hernandez. He's a worship leader and a personal stylist. I came across him on Instagram one day, and I've been following for a while, enjoying the content he puts out. So, Emmanuel, thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So for those who don't really know that much about you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into worship leading and how you started, styling people, just a little bit about your history.
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Texas. I grew up in a small army town called Killeen in Texas, and I lived there like my whole life. And then I moved to Miami about 4 years ago to help plant the church community that I'm a part of, VOUS Church. And but some background on like worship and things is I started leading worship when I was 14, and now I'm 29, so it's been about
Oh,
almost
cool.
15 years.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And what's funny is I actually didn't know I could sing until I was 14. I just kind of tried it, and when I was in my youth group, and um, I actually was pretty good at it. And so I just decided to join our worship team, and I just found a love and a passion for the presence of God, and seeing
Mhm.
people's lives change through that, and be able to be used by God in that. And so, yeah, and so I've been in ministry for, yeah, since I was about, honestly, since I was like 12 when I first started serving. So,
Really?
like half my life, more than half my life, I've been in church and
Wow.
serving God and loving it all the way.
That's really cool. So when that's your story is funny because I have a similar story. Started in ministry when I was 13 and have been I'm now 20 I'm 29 as well, so we're the same age, but only recently did I not that I stopped working in ministry and I'm in marketing now full time, but that's really cool just to hear your background. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to ask you too, so you moved from Texas to Miami to be a part of the church plant. So, like, was it a personal time of prayer? Like, how did you know that moving to Miami and planting, helping be a part of the VOUS Church plant was like God's idea for you?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Miami was never like on my radar. It was never something that I wanted to do, or I even had plans to do. Like, I always felt like I was called to live in a bigger city. I always felt like I probably would fit in more. And so I was always thinking like New York or LA, something like that.
Yeah.
But it actually did come in a time of like devotional time with God and prayer, that the Lord really just like dropped it in my heart and really spoke to me about moving me from Texas to Miami. And I joined, he spoke to my heart about an internship, and I was connected to Pastor Rich Wilkerson
Mhm.
Jr., incredible leader. And so what's funny is I didn't know anything about an internship or anything like that. It really all came
Yeah.
from the field. And but I was in this season of really needing to seek God more, and really felt He was putting on my heart to like specifically like fast and wake up early in the mornings and pray, and which I
Yeah.
wasn't really doing because I don't like waking up early in the mornings. But
Yeah.
it came one night. I was living with my parents at the time, and I fallen asleep like on our couch, and I woke up at like 3 in the morning, and I
Mhm.
was wide awake, and I was like, well, let me just pray right now. And I started praying,
Yeah.
and when God spoke to me about a move that was going to happen, and He's very specific. He said it was going to happen in 6 months, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And so I
Yeah.
immediately like grabbed my phone, I wrote it all down, and I honestly felt crazy. I was like, okay, this is either God talking to me, or I'm making
Mhm.
it up, or this is a huge
Yeah.
distraction. But I had peace about it, and I went to Pastor Rich's Instagram, and I found some information about this internship, and it was at Trinity Church, which is the church that launched VOUS. And
Wow.
I long story short, ended up applying, and I got in, and and made a huge step of faith and came to Miami. And
Wow.
so I felt the Lord speak this to me when it was in August it was
Mhm.
2014. And by January of 2015, I was in Miami, which is 6 months later, just like
Wow.
God said. And yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
cool.
Sometimes I have to remind myself that that's my story and how I got to where I am now, because
Yeah.
it really is like, it's crazy. It just really is like crazy. Like when I think about it,
Mhm.
and think about
Yeah.
the huge step of faith that I took and left my family and my friends and everything that I knew that
Wow.
was comfortable. I left that to come to a place I'd never been to before. Like I don't have family in Miami. Like I didn't know
Wow.
anybody, but
Yeah.
God, He really gave me a family here. And it's funny when I met a lot of the people I'm close with now. It's like I felt like I'd known them my whole life, and that's
Really.
really like a sign that you're like where you're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
so there's really nothing like the community here in Miami. It's really special.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. I was just connecting with the lady on Instagram because we were just talking about VOUS Conference and how amazing it was and how impactful
Ah,
it was. And she said that the community at VOUS, like you could feel the love that you guys have for each other and the love that's exuded upon the people that come into the community to be a part of, different things. And even at the conference, everybody's got the bracelets on. So she just enjoyed going to different places and seeing, oh, like, oh man, we're at the same conference and just that similar love, and it just,
yeah.
that community feel definitely oozed out to so many different parts of the conference. It was really cool. And
Yeah.
so I also want to ask you, Emmanuel, so when did you become a personal stylist with worship on your plate, when did you
Yeah.
add that?
Yeah. So I started personal styling a few years ago in Texas.
Mhm.
It's something the background with it is I've always like loved fashion. I've loved clothes and almost too much, where I'm like
Yeah,
always shopping and always looking at what's out. And
yeah,
but I would always help like my mom specifically. I was very close with my mom with like her clothes and what she would wear every day and like wear to
yeah.
church. It would just be a fun hobby and a
Hmm.
passion. And as I was growing up, I would help my friends a lot with their clothes and their outfits. And so a few years ago, I was like, why don't I just like make this official and like do this like as a business or as a
Yeah,
way to make income, or but also a creative outlet to use the gifts that God has given me.
yeah.
And so yeah, I started in Texas, and then but to be honest, the market where I was living there wasn't a lot of people that were necessarily looking for a personal stylist, just kind of the city I was in. But this year, at the beginning of the year, we always kind of look forward to see like, okay, what do I want to do this year? What are my goals? Like things I
Yeah,
want to really pursue. And I really felt the Lord put in my heart to kind of like bring it back and
that's
start it
cool.
up again. And so, yeah, so I was like, you
That's
know what?
awesome.
And so I had to find my login for the Instagram page, and I was like, I password and update the content and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But it's been really fun. So officially doing it again, it's only been since January, and
Okay.
it's been pretty awesome because I've been able to help a lot of people that I'm close with already, but then also people um, that I never would have never met before also. And so it's been a
Yeah.
really fun journey.
That's awesome. So you also did the styling for the merch for VOUS Conference, is that right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I,
So
I
talk.
didn't I didn't design the merch. I wish I would have designed it, but
Okay. Yeah.
I did have a chance to style it like for the shoot and like help put the outfits together and tell the
Yeah.
model what to bring and kind of
Yeah.
the vibe. So that was a lot of
Which
fun.
is honestly really cool with the styling because the way that you styled, like just on the videos on Instagram and stuff, I would have never thought to put that stuff together. But
Yeah.
what inspired you? Like, what was the inspiration behind the colors and like the certain glasses and stuff? Like, how do
Yeah.
you even think about that? Like, what's your process for that?
Yeah. Well, I wish I could take credit for everything, but we did have some awesome people that collaborated and worked together. But um, I did have a chance to kind of take the lead on it, and but our vibe was like 90s, kind of
Mm.
like the 90s era, and we got a lot of inspiration actually from a few different people, like celebrities right now, like Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, kind of their style. It's
Yeah,
very nonchalant, you know, like I care
yeah,
what I'm wearing, but I don't care what I'm wearing. That's
yeah,
kind of like I threw it on, you know, and it just fits perfectly, you know. So
yeah,
a lot of like flared jeans or trousers, and then we threw in some like overalls and things like that, and brought in
yeah,
like old school like a bucket hat, like stuff that you normally maybe wouldn't put together, but it was cool. We had a lot of fun doing it, and so yeah, it's all about just kind of having a vision first of what
mhm,
you want that the product to look like or what the outcome is, and then finding the pieces and putting it together. And so yeah, I'm all about finding inspiration in different people that are doing
yeah.
it, you know, already
That's
doing it.
cool. That's really cool. So, obviously just coming off of VOUS Conference 2019, which was amazing. I was there, had the privilege of going and really enjoyed the conference. But I want to ask you, Emmanuel, what did you love most about the conference? Like, what moment for you was really impactful with your walk with God?
Wow, that's so awesome. I think VOUS conference every year. I've only been able to be a part of it for the last about 4 years, but um, it's been just an honor and a privilege, you know, to be a part of
Yeah,
it, and specifically to help with worship at something like VOUS conference. And
mhm,
it was actually Thursday night session. So for those of you watching that don't know what VOUS conference is, it's our annual conference that our church puts on, and it's this year was huge. We saw the most people we've ever seen before, and we were in
amazing.
a new venue and an arena, and it was so cool. And so it
Mhm.
was actually it was Thursday night session, the opening session, and I wasn't serving. I was just in the like in the audience, and it was in a
Yeah,
time of worship. And um, you know, to be totally honest, like over the last year or so, I've actually kind of struggled a little bit with my calling and you know what I feel called to do. And
yeah,
because I've been in ministry since I was so young, it's kind of easy to lose perspective, and because you've been
yeah,
doing it for so long, you're just like you kind of forget the why, you know, behind the what.
hmm,
And I really feel like the Lord really like confirmed a lot and reminded me of a lot. And but on Thursday night, it was during one of the songs. I can't remember the song, but it was just I was a lot of times I kept my eyes open. I was just looking around, and I was just in awe of all the people and being able to
yeah,
see, you know, what God was doing in their lives. And
yeah,
I felt God speak to me and say that this is what you've given your life for, is so people can encounter me in my presence.
mm,
And wow, you know, I immediately
wow,
I'm like, I always grab my phone or a notebook and write those things down because I don't want to ever
yeah,
forget. Oh, and I like date it and time it, because it's like in moments when you're struggling, or um, you're weak, or you need to be reminded of what God said. You can look
yeah,
back on things and see the date and the time, or maybe it's a word of something that's going to happen. It's always, for me, I've
wow,
always found assurance and being able to look back and say, okay, God said it this date that He was going to do this, or He told me this
yeah,
then, so I hang on to that promise. And so,
yeah,
yeah, and that kind of like set the bar for me for the whole weekend, like after that moment.
mhm,
And so getting to serve and just see everyone's lives being changed. And then the last night, Saturday, when Carl Lentz preached about the Holy
yeah,
Spirit, and just the whole room just like lit up, and people
yeah,
baptized in the Holy Spirit, and worship
yeah,
just going and going, and getting to serve with a young lady, Dominique Jones, who was just a
yeah.
powerhouse. She's awesome.
She's
Follow her,
amazing.
everybody, if you're not following her.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Yeah, it was so fun. So, and
Wow.
it's so cool that you were there. I didn't even know that you were there.
Yeah, yeah. It was I've never been to anything VOUS. I watch on YouTube a lot and of course Instagram and stuff like that. But me and my friend Jenna decided a few months back, they were like, we gotta go. Like no matter what, we're gonna go. Because there was maybe a chance a group of us from our church were gonna go and then that fell through. So we are like, no, we're still gonna go. And it was really amazing. I would totally agree with you. So many impactful moments, but that last night of worship really marked me. And
Wow.
especially with singing. I personally have never heard a voice like hers. Like
Um,
she just leads with so much authority, and it was almost like her voice was piercing through to my heart, and in a way I've never experienced. And Don Cherie said it so well, you could just tell like her relationship with God just oozes out on the stage as she leads,
yeah.
so that was my first time ever hearing of her, and just to be able to be in the same room while so many people are being filled with the Spirit and encountering the Lord in that way was I'll never forget that night. I will never forget it. And it was awesome. It was really cool. And it was really cool to see you lead and to hear you lead some songs too. I'm like, there's Emmanuel, yeah.
Uh,
It was super cool. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy you were there.
Yeah, same. So another question I just want to ask you is you know, my dad asked me this the other day, and he was like, you should start asking people on your podcast what their answer is. And he said, what is the impact that you want to make on the world? And I want to ask you that, Emmanuel. You're my first guest that I'm asking that question to. But, you mentioned, the Lord kind of reviving inside of you just that purpose. But is there anything that else or any other type of language that you would pair along with that vision that God gave you that you feel like this is why God sent me here, or this is what I feel like I want to do while I'm here?
Yeah. Wow, that's a huge question.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Yeah.
I really, you know, I want to use the gifts that God has given me to, um, first off, build the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I really, God has really, get over the years as I've grown up. I'm not even that old, but um, we're not that old, we're the same age.
Yeah.
But um, He's really given me love for people and um, compassion for people,
Yeah.
and something that I really want. I hope, my hope is that when people see me and I can meet somebody, or whether I never meet them or they watch this video or see something on
Mhm.
Instagram or a video me singing or whatever it would be, or a song, they hear something. I just want people to know how much they're valued and loved,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll never have to say like, "Hey, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian," but I just want them
Mhm.
to feel it, and like I
Yeah.
believe that God can flow through anything, and
Mhm.
I just really want people to know how much they're valued and loved, um, by God, and
Yeah.
so um, whether that be through worship music or mainstream music or styling, like I really feel that God has put me on the earth to like really champion people and like really uplift them, and just I was talking to myself the other day and I was like, man, like I want, when I meet somebody, like I want them to feel like we're the only two people like in the room. Like I want them to know
Yeah.
that they have my full attention and that I see them, and
Mhm.
just as God sees them. And so I don't know if that answers the question, but
Yeah, no, it does.
yeah, I think that that goes beyond just also the church world. I would love to see that go into just culture and into
Yeah.
the world, as we say, and like um, I really have a heart for people also in the entertainment industry,
Hmm.
um, people that seem unreachable, almost.
Yeah.
Like I I I pray for it. It's funny, like whenever a celebrity like passes away or something like that,
Mhm.
like I remember when I was in sixth grade, I remember Aaliyah. I don't know if you know the singer Aaliyah, but
Yeah.
plane crash. And I remember my heart hurting so bad
Mm.
for her family and like her fans. And I was like, why do I feel such like a deep burden for someone I don't even
Wow.
know? And it's happened like different people that have influence. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm still trying to put words together. Maybe it's people that are influencers. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I really have a heart for people that have influence that seem unreachable, and um,
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like, but I do know that I pray for them often, and so I
Yeah.
guess putting it all together, I just want people to know they're valued and loved, and so whether
Mm.
that be music or face-to-face conversation or social media, like I just want the light of
Yeah.
Jesus in my life.
Yeah. That's awesome, Manuel. That's really cool. Do people call you Manny? Somebody
Yeah.
put Manny there. Okay. That's really awesome. I started this podcast for millennials who want to make an impact in their community because I was at the time looking for something and couldn't quite find it. And because of that, that's another question. And there's only a couple more questions left, but I want to ask you, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to other millennials out there who want to make an impact in their local community? What would you say to them?
Wow. Um, I would say stay the course. That's what
Mm.
I would say. My pastor told me that, and it stuck with me because it's so easy to veer off the path and but also look around in comparison and look at what other
Yeah,
people are doing and compare yourself, and then you start to get into competition with people when
yeah,
we weren't to compare ourselves or compete with anyone. Yeah, I would say stay the course, stay the path, stay the journey that God has for you, um, and maybe someone that's watching or listening, like they don't know what that journey looks like yet for them. Like I would
mhm,
say find some people that you look up to, that you want to be like, that are already where you want to be,
yeah,
and um, doing it better than you are, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
find those people and surround yourself with a community of people that have your back and are gonna cheer you on and root for you. And but yeah, stay the course, even in the mundane moments, in the ordinary day to day. Like today's a Monday, days like Mondays,
yeah,
are never fun, but
right,
stay the course, stay the path, and God will use you to make a difference.
yeah. It's Emmanuel or Manny, as I should maybe call you. But uh, last question I want to ask you concerning fashion. You're so obviously fashion forward. I follow your Stylist page, and it's really, really trendy, really cool. What are some fashion trends that you would give that are happening right now for tips for women and for men? Like, what are some things that are trending right now that if we want to step up our fashion game, you would give some tips for?
Wow, that's a good one. Um, I'm really like I'm really simple and like classic when it comes to the things that I like. Like I like trends, but I when I help people like with styling, like I try to like stay away from too many trends because it's a trend, it's gonna come and go. And so like
Yeah,
for anyone that is trying to up their fashion game, I
yeah,
think things that you can never go wrong with are some awesome fitted jeans or
mhm,
trousers. Um, and when I say that, I don't mean like the tightest jeans you can find, but things that are form fitting that show off your figure. And maybe if you're someone who's not necessarily comfortable with their figure, then I would say like some straight leg like trousers. I'm really big into right now like tucking shirts in with pants. I it's like I
yeah.
outfit I wear. I'm doing that, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, like you can never go wrong. Like for guys, like you can go to like H&M or like Forever 21 or Zara. Zara's having a huge seasonal sale right now. Actually, plug for Zara.
Yeah.
But you can get like some high waisted for women. You can get high waisted trousers with like a cool belt and you can tuck in like a tank top with it and put a cool denim jacket on top or a leather
Yeah.
jacket. For guys, you can get some trousers and tuck in a simple basic tee with that, and then with some like all white sneakers. Actually, we're talking about trends. A trend right now is Air Force Ones are a trend.
Okay.
I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen, a lot of people are getting Air Force Ones, and the cool thing about them is their shape is and silhouette is so cool that it's timeless and it'll just be cool any time of the year.
Yeah.
And actually, the dirtier they get, the cooler they look, which is kind of
Really?
yeah. And
Okay.
so yeah, form-fitting jeans or trousers, crop trousers and crop jeans are really cool where it shows your ankle. And you can wear socks or wear no socks. All depends on the look you're going for. If you're going for more of a classy look, maybe no socks. If you're wanting more of like a hipster or skater look, maybe do some
Yeah.
white socks. And then like tuck in a t-shirt with the jeans and or the
Okay.
trousers. And for guys, I would even suggest like rolling up the sleeves on the sides of your on your
Yeah.
arm just a little bit, just to kind of show
Yeah.
off the bicep a little bit. And it just really is a more of a refined look. And so
Okay.
um, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's
Yeah, no,
helpful.
that's cool. I noticed too, like for even the way that you styled some of the VOUS looks, and granted, I know you're going for that 90s vibe that we talked about earlier, but a lot of the shirts were tucked in. There's a lot more oversized shirts too. Is that a
Yeah,
thing? Like having oversized shirts?
yeah, like you don't want your shirt to be so tight that you can't breathe in it. Like you want it to you want to have enough like fabric to where it kind of falls over the band of your pants a little bit. Like
Yeah.
you don't want it to be like pulling, where you can see
Yeah.
like the wrinkles in the shirt. So like for me, I would usually like get a small in whatever shirt I'm wearing, but I've opted to start
Mhm.
getting mediums because like
Gotcha.
I'm not even the biggest guy, but I just like to have more to work with, and like it just
Gotcha.
yeah, it's like you can always shrink a shirt, but you can't make it bigger. So
That's true. That's true.
yeah,
All right, Emmanuel. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this show. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us, about your walk with God, about VOUS, about fashion, and about what God's doing in your life. So it means a lot. And if people want to stay in touch with you and just follow along with what God's doing in your life, what's the best way for them to do that?
yeah. Well, you can definitely Instagram is the best way. My personal Instagram is Emmanuel_Keith, which is my middle name. And
Okay.
my personal styling page is EKH Style altogether. And so, yeah, I pretty much post my life on either of those pages. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Most people do that these days.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. We'll stay in touch and just cheering you on in all that you're doing. It's really impactful, and I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you. Great talking to you.